buying a $1,000 box of Lost Origins of Pokemon on TCG Player right now, you're taking on less risk than buying a $200 or $300 new box.
What's going on, everybody? DJ here, road to 100 subscribers. So look, I've been watching Rudy now for probably 8 years, and I've never liked Magic the Gathering at all, but I've always found him entertaining, even though I'd never bought anything from him, never was really a Patreon or anything. Recently, I have become a Patreon, but this video here, it's called Timmy's Lack Financial Education. Again, just one day ago. This is sad that this only has 20,000 views, because something like Pokemon, like more clickbaity, will get views, but this is the information that's important. And so I'm going to show you a couple clips here. Let's just listen to Rudy.
Lost Origins of Pokemon on TCG Player right now is actually you're taking on less risk than buying a $200 or $300 new box, even though you're spending 3 times the price or 10 times the price of what it was at whatever point in time. So this is where the human mind likes to play tricks on all of us. So let's start with Magic here. So for example, right now, a lot of people are having a hard time accepting how expensive collector boxes are. A lot of people can't understand how on earth did Fallout collectors become $1,300? When did Wildsville Drain be $1,000? Wait, Ikoria, Phyrexia, March of the Machine, Brothers War, Doctor Who, Lord of the... Wait, Final Fantasy is still at $1,500, not going up or down. Bloomborough, wait, Duskmourn is almost $1,000? So a lot of people are having a hard time accepting the reality. The natural response for most people is going to be probably psychologically rejecting it and saying, no way, it's a bubble. It's manipulation. The average person who's not going to want to believe what they see is going to be their brain is going to be saying, no way, I'm not on board with that.
Now, I am definitely guilty of this myself, seeing some of the larger priced items. You're like, that's $1,000, that's $1,300, that's $2,000. Now, he is at the moment talking about Magic interchangeably, but there will be Pokemon mentioned for sure. But you can just kind of fill in the blanks there. But it's something I'm guilty of. And I think most people are guilty of. Simply like, just look at some of the hotter items. A lot of people are not talking about Evolving Skies. This is one of the things that he will mention and has briefly mentioned in the beginning of the video. But a lot of people are not talking about investing in Evolving Skies. Instead, they're talking about Prismatic, including myself. I'm guilty of this as well. You're like, $100, man, it's so cheap. Everybody's going to want it. And I do think people are going to want Prismatic long term. Even the Pokemon Center at $315, I think it might have come down just a little bit. But really something that is gone up crazy is $151, right? Almost $1,000 now. And so keep that in mind, what you're seeing from a lot of people on YouTube. And it's really making me reflect on, like, am I doing the right thing here? Here's another clip that really got me.
Pick on any box. If a collector box is $1,000, let's just use it generic, no name. Buying that $1,000 box today, well, yeah, it's $1,000 versus $200, but the percentage movements are actually more favorable. The more expensive the price is, the more favorable the percentage in the raw. Like, this is really tough for me to explain. I should have done maybe a whiteboard video on this. I just haven't been to that location. So, okay, we got to do it. So if you pick on Wildsville Drain, that's kind of the chatter on the street right now. And people are frustrated saying, why or how is it $1,000? Why or how is Duskmourn $800? Why or, I mean, you know, if you actually go on TCG Player and eBay and you add up and look at the depth, look at the iceberg of the market, and you see Wildsville Drain collectors at 1,000 plus tax, so 1,100. And then you count how many are for sale on TCG Player, and you're going, there's like 20 boxes listed, Rudy. And then the price goes to like $1,500 and $2,000 a box. Correct.
Let that sink in, right? A lot of people are looking for the next 10x, the next 5x on their Pokemon, their ETB, whether that's the booster box, whatever it happens to be. Even Pokemon centers going from 200 to 300, that's really difficult, right? That's 50%. But going from 1,000 to 1,100, which is still $100, keep that in mind. That's what Rudy's talking about. That's just a 10% movement. And often, as he mentioned, with the supply, there's not a lot of it. So once you buy up that first 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, considering there's there's only 20 or 30 of these even on the market available, it can instantly go to 1,500, 1,600. Didn't really think of it like that, man. I've been kind of thinking like a broke boy, like a Timmy, right? Like, let me know if that's you as well in the comment section below. If you've been thinking like, I don't mind spending $200, $300, but 1,000 is way out of question. Let that sink in for a moment.
Path forward, the resistance level is a lot more difficult to move a $200 collector box to $300, but it's a lot easier to move a $1,000 collector box to $1,300 or to $2,000, depending if you want to talk raw dollars or if you want to talk percentages again. And that's why this stuff gets really confusing. Because on the surface, saying a $200 collector box can go to $300, that's a 50% return. Wow. But in reality, if you bought a $1,000 Wildsville drain box, what are the odds it goes to $1,100? Dude, it doesn't even have to try. So on different raw dollar scales, it can be very confusing. And this is very normal. Like when I was younger, and the problem a lot of this stuff is, and I know this is a dirty thing to say, the issue is we have a serious lack of education and a lack of financial teachings and a lack of just people in modern times don't understand finance the way they should.
So I thought for sure I knew a lot about finance. I mean, I've been trading stocks since I was probably 21 years old. I'm almost 36 now, so close to 15 years, if not 15 years. Crypto for a very long time. And I'm not talking about shit coins. I'm talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about the good stuff, right? Ethereum and a lot of other things early on. And, very early Tesla investor, very early NVIDIA investor. I've had great success in those fields. And I'm starting to reallocate some of those funds since crypto's at the all-time highs or near it. I'm like, okay, what are some things that are down in the gutter that I can buy? I've been looking at a lot of trash, a lot of doo-doo in the Pokemon ETBs, getting greedy and kind of thinking of, I bet this is going to be the next big thing. So it's definitely making me question myself, question my investment strategy. Is this the best strategy? As you can see there, I got a bunch of prismatic. There's way more prismatic up top. There's way more prismatic in my closet. I've got ETBs for days of white flare, black bolt, all types of things. I've been buying Twilight, buying surging sparks for cheap, basically MSRP or very close to MSRP. And it makes me think, is this the best strategy? Is this really the best strategy going forward? Or maybe I should adjust now that I've got those positions. Maybe I should adjust a little bit more because what Rudy's saying here makes a lot of sense.
Everybody just knows if I buy a $1,000 item, it needs to go to 10,000 and 10x because of this crypto era and a lot of the bros and the scalper scanner 5,000. All of these memes have distorted what we think as good and bad. I told you all for years and years that, and the funny thing is, nothing's really changed. If you buy a $1,000 collector box today, if you go on TCG Player right now and buy Fallout collectors, Wildsville Drain collectors, Final Fantasy collectors, and you just like Magic, you're small, they're pretty, and you just buy one of each, the probability of you continuing to do well by literally doing nothing at all after that is very favorable. You can't use the G word guarantee because that's a legality issue, but the probability of that continuing is really odds. The odds are really in your favor.
It's funny. I've actually fully watched this video twice now, 3 times with you all. And it's very interesting because in crypto world, I would never trade kind of the way that I've been doing it with some of these ETBs. For example, I would not be buying a bunch of meme coins. I don't do that. I don't shoot for 10Xs, 100Xs. I go very safe. I buy Bitcoin. I buy, like I said, Ethereum or Solana, something much safer. Every now and then I'll dabble like 3% of my portfolio in like Dogecoin and maybe 0.1% on a meme coin if I really wanted to gamble that day. But honestly, I don't do that. And so when I think about the strategy that I've been doing, that a lot of people on YouTube have been doing and telling you to do, does it really make sense to mess around with a lot of these smaller things that there's a million of them coming, especially if they're in print? We know they're coming for sure, right? Sam's Club, Costco, GameStop, Target, Walmart, you think about it, doesn't really matter. So things in print, yes, you can get that 10x. Yes, you can shoot for the moon, but is that really smart? And when you are getting a 10x on a lot of those things, going from $200 to $300, as Rudy mentioned, that's just $100, but you can do that much easier with some larger items. So I'm really thinking right now.
When you don't have a lot of resources or you're new to an industry, it scares you to buy a $3,000 Pokemon box of Evolving Skies. That's scary.
True.
But for some reason, buying 10 boxes of I don't know, journey together at $300 each doesn't feel as scary.
True.
Right? It doesn't feel like a big deal at all, actually.
How many of you are guilty of this? Look at me. I'm obviously guilty of this. I am obviously guilty of this myself. Each one of these white flare ETBs probably cost me, like I said, MSRP. So anywhere from $55. The most I've ever paid was $75 for a couple of them, but usually shooting for around $70 or $65 for most, I would say is probably my average. And that doesn't feel bad. You know, I'll take 5 of those. I buy 5 at a time, 10 at a time. I bought 15 at a time, and it didn't feel as bad. But instead, I could have applied all of that and got a single box and done so much less work and taken up so much less space to make the exact same money. Let me know if that's you. Are you feeling like a Timmy right now?
See my point? So it's kind of a trick that your brain plays, because the odds of the $1,000 box going to $2,000 is actually better odds than the $300 box moving. Because it gets more complicated, because let's just kind of go into some soft things. This really wasn't a good video setup and everything. I was going to talk about art today, and share painting, like I did a long time ago. But
you're doing great, Rudy.
You have a couple of their variables. When the box price is cheaper, the market hasn't fully committed and hasn't fully understood the value, scarcity, supply, the cards, the pool of things you could get from the set. The market's still kind of shaky, right? But when a box is already skyrocketed, when Lost Origins is 1,000, or Bloomburrow is 1,000, or Ixalan, or whatever, when the item already skyrockets, the market's already giving you the green light that this is a good thing long term. It's rare, there's nothing left, we are a go. And you have to take those little tips. Those are like free advice on the internet. And on top of that, the higher the price goes, the faster the price moves. One more time slower for the Timmys in the back. The higher the box price is, the momentum and the friction is the momentum's greater and the friction is lower. It wants to keep running.
Wow. Think about that. This is what he said. It wants to keep running. The higher the price, the less on the market. So, wow, like really think about what he's telling you there. The market is speaking to you. It's not emotional. It's just data driven. It's just the numbers. It's the facts. One thing to consider though is for the bear market, how does this apply? What would you rather hold? Would you rather have 100 boxes of prismatic, or would you rather have a couple valuable out of print items like Evolving Skies or whatever? Insert whatever makes you feel good. I'm not sure. I would love a follow-up video from Rudy, and if you could talk about some of the risk mitigation for the bear run. I would assume vintage or older products that are out of print certainly are going to hold their value a lot better, because when this thing goes down, it's going to go down, right? There's always bull cycles. There's always bear cycles. It is what it is. It happens. Which one is really going to hold its value? And I don't think more modern stuff would hold its value. So again, risk mitigation, that's what it's all about. Something that I've seen with younger people, and I'm also guilty of this, especially when I was younger, and probably still am to some extent, is wanting to get the cheapest thing. When you see things for $50, $60, $70, yeah, just like Rudy's talking about. Don't be a Timmy, man. That's not necessarily an opportunity, because you're going to see somebody do great on it. You're going to see somebody out there, dude, I just 10x'd all my money. Those things happen. But overall, the people in the market are not making a ton of money off a lot of this product, off a lot of these items. And you're not hearing a lot of the success stories. People like Rudy, I'm sure there's people of very similar wealth to Rudy. Something I've always considered about when I take in information: is this person in a position of life that I would want to be in? As an example, if you want to get a 6-pack abs, right? You're trying to go to the gym. Are you going to listen to this overweight person tell you how to get a 6-pack? Or would you listen to somebody who is in good shape? Of course, you're going to pick the person that's in good shape. And it's kind of the same with finances. Look at this person that you're listening to on YouTube. That doesn't have to be me. Maybe you don't want to be in a position of life that I'm in. That's perfectly understandable. But for me, Rudy's advice, this is someone who does it, who lives it, who has really been doing it for 10 years just on YouTube alone, successfully, probably the biggest PP energy on the internet when it comes to cards. And that's Magic, that's Pokemon, whichever one, the same energy, the same advice applies. And a lot of these other people you're looking at, maybe their net worth is $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. And for some people, that's a lot of money, but we're talking about a millionaire. So if this guy's telling you, he can't tell you for sure it's guaranteed or financial advice, but come on, we could read between the lines on this one. This is how it is. This is what you might want to consider doing. I definitely think it's worth at least considering for sure. So I will certainly take this advice. And wow, man, is Prismatic the way? You know, I've really believed in Prismatic pretty strong. I think I'm going to try to buy some of these. No, I don't think. I need to buy some of these rarer sets for sure. And I'm not just talking about Pokemon Center, right? There's a million of these Pokemon Centers. These are not rare. Prismatic Evolutions, Destined Rivals, Pokemon Centers. These things are not rare. These things are not scarce by any means. Eventually, over time, maybe they will be, but things that are already older, wow, something to consider. So guys, road to 100 subscribers. I think we just broke 65 or something like that. I am trying to get monetized long term. If you like this video, please like it. Watch the full video, man. There's way more great information that Rudy gave out. And let me know if you want to see more of these videos, kind of a breakdown and more of a reaction to alpha investments. Love the guy, man. Like I said, I did become a Patreon, I think last month or a month and a half ago. So I haven't actually purchased anything just yet. It hasn't really been a lot of product that I want. I'm really more interested in Pokemon over the Magic, but I like support him. He's a good dude. Been watching him a long time. So, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. DJ's Poke Center signing out.